In this video, we're going to cover the banded chin-up. So you're going to make sure that you pick the appropriate band so that you can complete the intended number of reps with good control, good form. Really, the areas we're going to kind of focus in on is being able to hold the contraction at the top, as well as those nice controlled eccentrics. And the progression schemes we can use over time when we see the reduced number of repetitions is either reducing the amount of assistance we're getting, so we're using a band with less, like this one is the black band. If I take a purple or green, usually that's going to give you more assistance, but this would give less. So you can think about those as being part of the progression schemes when we reduce the rep count over time. So just a quick thing on the setup itself. So what we're going to do, you band that loop around the bar, and we're going to just thread it through. That way we make sure that it's usually right around in the center here, completely secure. Now, there's two ways that I like to really utilize the band. One is a full straight sort of leg that will give you, again, more stretch. The alternative is a knee. I just find that with the knee version, sometimes what tends to happen is you start swinging back and forth, and that's something very important that you want to make sure that you are able to control. Okay, so we're going to be showing you how to set up into the band once it's set up on the bar itself. Make sure that you have an appropriate size step so we're not struggling to place the band, whether it's going to be in the knee or in the foot here. Also going to make it a lot more easier to get off once you finish the final 3 reps and that fatigue does start to kick in. So, 2 options here. The first one I mentioned is going to be with the knee placed in there. Now, for chin-ups, we're going to go with that palms facing towards us. If we're doing pull-ups, we just go with the overhand grip here, but we're going to start off for now with the underhand grip. Now, make sure that the step isn't too in the way here. We really do want to avoid that swinging back and forth, because you don't want to be having to fight the momentum of moving and swinging while you're trying to pull yourself upwards. So, once I'm set up here, I'm going to take a distance with my hands. It's just about shoulder width, not too wide. From there, if I need to push that step back, I can. I'm going to have that one leg straight here, that one knee just hanging in. I'm going to even think about bringing my legs, squeezing them together. So again, like I'm not just thinking about no tension in the lower body. Now, chin slightly tucked in, deep breath, squeeze the glutes and core, tight grip, and focus on driving elbows down to the hips. Pause at the top as needed. Nice controlled eccentric on the way down. Get that full stretch. Try not to bounce it right back up, so that again, if I do this, I'm quick. You can see now my body starts to move back and forth. We really don't want that to get in the way of our intended stimulus. The alternative then, and this may be harder with the really high resistance bands, it's a little bit easier to do with the lower resistance ones, and of course make sure whatever band you're using, just check to make sure there are no rips and tears. Last thing we want is for that band to rip as we're using it. That has happened, so just make sure, quick note, take a look at the bands. If they're newer, you're not going to have the issue. If they're older and have a little bit more wear and tear, that's something to just be aware of. But here what I can do is I can step into the band with one or both legs, and then again, take my grip, slowly set up the bottom position, keep my legs crossed or stuck together. The band is going to be a little bit more in the center of my body. Deep breath in at the bottom, squeeze through, exhale, hold, control back down, breathing in, hold. Now because you can see here as well, the band is stretched a little bit more. It may give you a little bit more assistance as well, but I do find it's more realistic of the setups that we want to use for pull-ups eventually, what we're doing, and chin-ups that we're doing without the band as well. So that is the banded chin-up.